Part 1, the place within you that has never been broken. Tonight, before we begin, I'd like to invite you to do something wonderfully simple. Not because you have to, not because it's another technique to master, but because your mind has already been working hard enough today. Allow your shoulders to soften, just a little. Let your jaw unclench if it's been holding tension. Feel the gentle weight of your body supported beneath you. Notice your breathing. You don't need to make it slower. You don't need to make it deeper. Simply notice that it is happening all by itself, without asking anything from you. Perhaps today was full. Meetings, responsibilities, unexpected conversations, small worries, tiny decisions that quietly drained your energy one by one. Or perhaps today was strangely empty. One of those days where nothing dramatic happened. Yet your mind still feels exhausted. It happens to all of us, because the mind rarely becomes tired from thinking alone. More often, it becomes tired from carrying unfinished conversations, carrying expectations, carrying memories, carrying questions that don't yet have answers. Sometimes we don't even realize how much we're holding, until the room finally becomes quiet. Then suddenly, everything we've been carrying all day begins speaking at once. Have you ever noticed how nighttime has a curious way of making small worries feel much larger? A conversation from years ago suddenly returns. A decision that seemed settled now feels uncertain. Tomorrow's responsibilities begin arriving hours too early. You promise yourself you'll stop thinking, and somehow that promise becomes just one more thought. Many people quietly wonder if something is wrong with them. They think, why can't I simply switch my mind off? If I'm so tired, why am I still thinking? But perhaps there is another way to understand what is happening. Perhaps your mind isn't refusing to rest. Perhaps it simply hasn't realized that it is finally safe enough to do so. Imagine for a moment a loyal old guardian standing watch outside a peaceful village. For years, its only purpose has been protection. Every unusual sound, every unfamiliar face, every unexpected movement. The guardian notices them all, not because it enjoys being alert, but because it believes someone depends on it. Now imagine asking that guardian to suddenly stop watching. The very moment the sun goes down, would it immediately relax? Probably not. It has practiced vigilance for too long. Our nervous systems often behave in much the same way, especially after months or years of stress. The brain learns that staying alert feels necessary. Even when the danger has long since passed, even when you are lying safely beneath a warm blanket, part of the mind may still believe, I should keep watching, just in case. Modern neuroscience tells us something deeply comforting. Your brain is constantly trying to predict what comes next. It compares today's experiences with thousands of memories collected across your lifetime. Most of this happens completely outside your awareness. Its goal is beautifully simple: to keep you safe, not to keep you perfectly happy, not to make every decision effortless, simply to help you survive. For our distant ancestors, this system was extraordinary. A strange sound in the forest, an unfamiliar scent carried by the wind, a sudden silence among birds. Noticing these things quickly often meant the difference between life and death. Today, the forests have changed, but your brain has not forgotten its ancient responsibility. Instead of watching for predators, it watches emails, appointments, relationships, financial concerns, medical tests, family responsibilities. The same protective system continues working, only the scenery has changed. There is something surprisingly kind about realizing this, because it means your restless mind is not your enemy. It is not proof that you are weak, or broken, or failing. It is simply a remarkably devoted protector that sometimes forgets when its work is finished. Perhaps you've noticed this after returning home from a long vacation. For the first day or two, you may still wake early, still check your phone, still feel slightly rushed, even though nothing urgent is waiting. The body often needs time to believe what the mind already knows. Safety is not understood instantly. It is experienced gradually. There is an old saying among psychologists: the nervous system learns through experience. Not explanation. Experience. You can repeat to yourself, "I am safe," 100 times. Yet if your body still carries the posture of someone preparing for danger, those words may never fully settle. The body gently asks, "If we're truly safe, why are my shoulders still tight? Why is my breathing so shallow? Why does my heart still feel hurried?" This is why healing often begins in surprisingly ordinary ways. A slower breath, a warm cup of tea, gentle evening light, a familiar blanket, the quiet sound of rain. None of these erase life's difficulties, but together, they send a different message through the nervous system, a message older than language itself. This moment is safe. Perhaps you've experienced this without even realizing it. You're walking beside the ocean, listening to waves arrive one after another. Nothing special happens, no profound insight, no dramatic transformation. Yet after 20 minutes, your thoughts feel softer. Your breathing becomes slower. Your shoulders relax. The ocean didn't solve your problems. It simply reminded your nervous system of a rhythm slower than anxiety. Nature has been teaching this lesson for millions of years. Trees never rush into spring. Rivers never hurry toward the sea. Even the stars move with extraordinary patience. Only human beings regularly ask themselves to solve tomorrow before sleeping tonight. One of the gentlest truths we can remember is this: not every thought deserves your attention. The brain produces thousands of thoughts every single day. Some are useful, some are creative, some help us solve genuine problems. Others are simply echoes, old conversations replaying, ancient worries wearing new clothes, questions that have already been answered, or questions that cannot yet be answered. The remarkable thing is that the brain does not always distinguish between them. It simply presents them, one after another, like clouds moving across the sky. The difficulty begins only when we believe we must follow every single one. Imagine sitting beside a quiet road. Cars pass by. Some are bright, some are noisy, some move quickly. Others slowly disappear into the distance. Now imagine believing you had to climb into every passing car. It would be exhausting. Yet this is often how we treat our thoughts. Every worry receives our attention. Every memory deserves another review. Every uncertainty becomes another investigation. Perhaps tonight, you might simply sit beside the road, allowing thoughts to come, allowing thoughts to go, without climbing aboard every one of them. Not because thoughts are bad, but because not every traveler needs your company. There is another beautiful discovery waiting here. Beneath all of our thinking, something quieter remains. You have probably met it before, perhaps while watching snowfall, or listening to birds before sunrise. Maybe while holding someone's hand without speaking, or sitting beside a sleeping child. For just a few moments, nothing needed improving, nothing needed explaining, nothing needed fixing. There was simply awareness, clear, open, effortless. Most people assume these moments are rare. Perhaps they are not. Perhaps they are simply overlooked because they are so ordinary. The mind loves excitement. Yet peace is usually much quieter. It doesn't announce itself. It simply waits, patiently, until we finally stop searching long enough to notice it. As you continue resting tonight, there is nothing you must achieve before sleep arrives. No perfect state of calm, no completely empty mind, no impossible silence. If thoughts come, let them come. If they leave, let them leave. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your breathing. Notice the steady support beneath your body. Notice that despite everything your mind has carried today, you are here, safe, breathing, resting, alive. And perhaps that is enough for this moment, because beneath every busy thought beneath every unfinished conversation, beneath every worry about tomorrow, there has always existed something remarkably steady, a quiet awareness, patient, unhurried, never demanding perfection, only inviting you to rest. And in our next chapter, we'll explore why the mind becomes attached to certain thoughts, why it keeps returning to the same worries, and how learning to gently recognize these mental habits can begin loosening their grip without fighting them at all. Part 2. Why some thoughts keep knocking on the door. As the evening grows quieter and your breathing settles into its own gentle rhythm, let's continue exploring one of the most curious habits of the human mind. Have you ever noticed that some thoughts seem to arrive only once, while others return again and again, almost as if they're knocking on the same door, hoping someone will answer? Perhaps it's a conversation you wish had gone differently, a decision you're still uncertain about, something you forgot to do, or something you're afraid might happen tomorrow. No matter how many times you think about it, the mind quietly circles back. At first, this can feel frustrating. You may wonder, why can't I just let it go? But perhaps there is a kinder question. What is this thought trying to accomplish? The brain rarely repeats something without a reason. Sometimes, it believes an important problem remains unsolved. Other times, it worries that forgetting something might lead to danger. And occasionally, it simply doesn't know that the moment has already passed. Imagine an old friend who keeps calling because they believe you never received their first message. They aren't trying to annoy you. They're simply waiting for reassurance. Many repetitive thoughts behave in much the same way. Not because they're correct, but because some part of your brain believes they still require attention. Researchers who study memory have discovered something fascinating. The brain gives special priority to unfinished experiences. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as the tendency to remember incomplete tasks more vividly than completed ones. It's one reason a movie ending can stay in your thoughts for days, or why an unanswered email keeps quietly returning to mind. The brain dislikes uncertainty. It prefers open loops to become closed, yet life rarely provides perfect endings. Conversations remain unfinished. Questions remain unanswered. Relationships change without clear explanations. Plans take unexpected turns. The mind continues searching, long after the outside world has already moved on. Perhaps you've noticed this after reading a mystery novel. If someone interrupted you before the final chapter, your curiosity would remain active. Part of your mind would keep wondering, who did it? How does it end? Only after the story is complete does that quiet mental tension begin to dissolve. Our everyday lives often contain dozens of these unfinished stories. Some are practical, others are emotional, many are invisible. Yet your brain faithfully keeps returning to them, not because it enjoys worrying, but because it still hopes for resolution. The interesting thing is this: not every question can be answered tonight. Some answers arrive only after time has passed, some after a conversation, some after experience, and some never arrive at all. One of the quiet lessons that life teaches is that peace does not always require certainty. Sometimes, peace begins when we stop demanding immediate answers from questions that simply are not ready yet. Imagine holding a snow globe in your hands. After shaking it, the tiny white flakes swirl wildly through the water. Now imagine trying to force every snowflake to settle using your fingers. The harder you interfere, the longer the water remains cloudy. The quickest way for the snow to settle is surprisingly simple. You gently place the globe back on the table and wait. The mind often works in exactly the same way. Some thoughts settle naturally. When we stop shaking them, this can feel almost impossible at first, because the brain believes thinking longer will eventually produce certainty. Sometimes it does, but often, more thinking simply creates more thinking. A question gives birth to another question. One possibility leads to 5 more. soon. The original problem has disappeared beneath layers of imagined scenarios. Mental energy becomes trapped in movement rather than understanding. There is an important difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection is curious. It asks, "What can I learn?" Rumination is repetitive. It asks the same question over and over, while refusing every answer. Reflection tends to leave us feeling lighter. Rumination usually leaves us exhausted. The two may look similar from the outside. Inside the brain, they are very different journeys. Perhaps you've experienced this while trying to fall asleep. A single practical thought appears. I should remember to call someone tomorrow. That thought could end there. Instead, the mind continues. What if I forget? What if something goes wrong? What if they think I don't care? What if, before long, a simple reminder has become an entire story? The body remains safely in bed, yet the nervous system begins responding as though something urgent is happening. Not because tomorrow has arrived, but because imagination and reality often use many of the same emotional pathways inside the brain. One of the kindest discoveries from neuroscience is that attention behaves much like sunlight. Wherever it shines, growth follows. When attention repeatedly rests on fear, fear grows more familiar. When attention repeatedly rests on gratitude, gratitude becomes easier to notice. This doesn't mean we ignore difficult realities. It simply reminds us that attention is one of the brain's most valuable resources, and like every valuable resource, it deserves gentle care. There is a peaceful practice that many people discover naturally without giving it a name. Instead of asking, "How do I stop thinking?" they begin asking, "What is happening right now?" Notice the difference. The first question fights the mind. The second returns to the present. Right now. Perhaps you can feel the weight of the blanket, the coolness of the evening air, the gentle sound surrounding your room, the rhythm of your own breathing. These quiet experiences anchor the brain in something real. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, only now. Interestingly, the nervous system has no ability to exist anywhere except the present moment. Your thoughts can travel decades into the past or years into the future. But your breathing always happens here. Your heartbeat always happens here. Your body patiently waits for your attention to come home. Perhaps that is why simple awareness can feel so comforting. It reminds the brain that in this moment, there is no emergency requiring immediate action. Think about watching leaves float down a quiet stream. Some drift quickly. Others circle gently before disappearing around the bend. You probably wouldn't jump into the water to rescue every leaf. You would simply watch. Thoughts can be treated with the same gentle curiosity. Not every thought requires analysis. Not every emotion requires a solution. Some simply arrive. Stay for a while and quietly continue downstream. This is not indifference. It is trust. Trust that your remarkable mind knows how to sort through experience. Just as it has every night of your life. While you sleep, your brain will continue organizing memories, strengthening what matters, softening what no longer serves you, working patiently, without demanding your constant supervision. Perhaps tonight, you don't have to finish every thought before falling asleep. Perhaps your brain has already carried enough for one day. As your eyelids grow a little heavier, notice how many sounds continue without your effort. Your breathing, the quiet hum of the room, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. Life continues gently. Even when you stop managing every detail, maybe your thoughts can do the same. Maybe they don't need to disappear. Maybe they only need a little more space. And in our next chapter, we'll explore one of the greatest illusions created by an anxious mind. The belief that happiness is always waiting somewhere just beyond the present moment, and why true contentment often begins exactly where you already are. Part 3. The quiet trap of "I'll be happy when." As the night grows deeper, Perhaps your breathing has become a little slower now. The room feels quieter. Your thoughts no longer seem quite as eager to race ahead. If they still wander, that's perfectly all right. Minds have always wandered. The remarkable thing isn't stopping them. It's learning how to gently come home again. Tonight, let's explore one of the oldest habits of the human mind, a habit so familiar that many of us hardly notice it. It begins with 5 simple words. I'll be happy when, perhaps you've heard those words in your own thoughts. I'll relax when this project is finished. I'll feel better after the weekend. I'll finally rest once everything is under control. I'll enjoy life more after retirement. I'll stop worrying when I know for certain. The details change from person to person, but the pattern remains remarkably similar, somewhere just beyond today. Peace appears to be waiting, just one more accomplishment. One more answer, one more improvement, one more milestone, then, surely, everything will finally feel complete. Our brains are wonderfully designed to pursue goals. Without that ability, human civilization might never have existed. We wouldn't plant gardens, build homes, raise families, or learn new skills. Looking ahead has helped our species survive for thousands of years. But there is an interesting side effect. The same mind that helps us prepare for tomorrow sometimes forgets how to experience today. Imagine hiking toward a beautiful mountain. At first, the journey feels exciting. Every step reveals something new. Birdsong echoes through the trees. Sunlight filters gently through the branches. A cool breeze brushes against your face. Then, without realizing it, your attention shifts entirely to the summit. The flowers disappear from your awareness. The birds become background noise. The peaceful forest becomes nothing more than something to get through. You haven't reached the mountain yet, but you've already stopped experiencing the journey. Many of us move through life this way, not because we're doing anything wrong, simply because the brain becomes fascinated with destinations. Psychologists sometimes describe this as the arrival illusion, the quiet belief that happiness permanently lives on the other side of the next achievement. The promotion, the vacation, the new home, the perfect relationship, better health, more free time, greater certainty, and often, those experiences do bring genuine joy. But something curious happens. After a while, the extraordinary slowly becomes ordinary. The new home becomes simply home. The dream job becomes daily work. The long-awaited vacation becomes another memory. The brain adjusts remarkably quickly. Then, almost without noticing, it begins searching for the next destination. Not because it is greedy, because adaptation is one of its greatest strengths. Think about buying something you've wanted for months. Perhaps a comfortable chair, a new phone, a favorite book. The first few days feel wonderful. Everything seems brighter, more exciting. Then gradually, that object becomes part of everyday life. It hasn't lost its value. Your brain has simply become familiar with it. This ability to adapt helps human beings survive enormous changes. But it also means lasting contentment rarely comes from circumstances alone. One of the gentlest questions we can ask ourselves is this: what if nothing is missing from this moment? At first, the question may sound almost impossible. After all, every life contains genuine challenges, responsibilities, losses, uncertainty. No one is pretending otherwise. Yet alongside all of those realities, there may also be something quietly complete. Right now, your lungs already know how to breathe. Your heart continues its faithful rhythm. The earth continues turning beneath you. The night sky stretches peacefully overhead. Life continues offering small moments of beauty. Whether we notice them or not, have you ever watched someone become completely absorbed in a simple activity? A grandparent tending flowers, someone knitting beside a window, a child drawing with crayons, a person slowly stirring soup on the stove. There is no urgency, no audience, no race, just quiet attention. These ordinary moments often contain a surprising kind of richness, not because they are extraordinary, but because nothing is competing with them. For a little while, the mind stops asking, "What comes next?" and gently settles into, "What is here?" Modern neuroscience offers an interesting explanation. The brain contains different networks that become active depending on where attention rests. One network helps us plan, analyze, remember, predict. Another becomes more active when we experience the present directly, feeling warm sunlight, listening to birds, watching waves roll onto a shore. Neither network is better than the other. We need both. Problems arise only when planning never takes a break. When tomorrow occupies every quiet space meant for today, perhaps that is why nature feels so restorative. A tree asks nothing from you. The moon does not require your opinion. Rain never hurries. The ocean never apologizes for arriving one wave at a time. When we spend time with these rhythms, our own nervous system often begins slowing to match them. Not because nature performs miracles, but because it quietly reminds the brain that life does not always require constant effort. There is a beautiful image that many people find comforting. Imagine carrying a backpack on a long walk. Inside are useful things: water, food, a warm jacket. These help you continue your journey. Now imagine filling the same backpack with stones, one by one. A stone for every regret. A stone for every imagined future. A stone for every expectation. A stone for every impossible standard you've placed upon yourself. Eventually, the journey becomes exhausting. Not because the road changed, but because of everything you believed you had to carry. The interesting thing is this: many of those stones were never required. We placed them there ourselves, without realizing it. Contentment doesn't ask us to throw away our dreams, or stop growing, or stop caring. It simply asks us to notice the difference between carrying what truly matters and carrying what was never ours to begin with. The future deserves thoughtful planning, but it does not deserve every peaceful moment of your evening. Tomorrow will arrive, whether you rehearse it 100 times tonight or not. As people grow older, many discover something quietly surprising. The happiest memories are rarely the biggest achievements. Instead, they often involve remarkably ordinary moments. Laughing around a dinner table, walking beside someone they loved, watching children play, hearing rain against the roof, holding a warm cup on a cold morning. None of these moments announced themselves as life-changing while they were happening. Only later did they reveal their quiet importance. Perhaps that is because presence gives ordinary moments permission to become meaningful. Right now, as you listen, nothing extraordinary needs to happen. You do not need an unforgettable experience before falling asleep. This evening is enough. Your breathing is enough. The quiet darkness surrounding you is enough. The simple fact that you have reached another peaceful night is enough. Sometimes, the mind keeps searching because it believes peace must be earned. Yet your nervous system understands something simpler. Rest is not a reward. It is part of being alive. Just as birds eventually stop singing, just as flowers close when evening comes, just as the sky slowly welcomes the stars, your body also knows how to soften if only we allow it. Notice once more the gentle weight beneath you, the quiet rhythm of each breath, the feeling of the air moving softly across your skin. Nothing is asking you to become someone different before morning. Nothing is demanding another achievement tonight. Perhaps, for these few peaceful moments, you can quietly set down the backpack. Not forever, only until sunrise. The road will still be there tomorrow. Your responsibilities will still be waiting. But tonight, your remarkable mind deserves something just as valuable, a chance to remember. That peace is not always found at the end of the journey. Sometimes, It has been quietly walking beside you all along. And in our next chapter, we'll discover why resisting difficult emotions often gives them more power, and how learning to welcome them with gentle curiosity can transform the way your nervous system responds to stress, worry, and uncertainty. Part 4. The gentle freedom of letting things be. By now, the night has settled a little deeper. Perhaps your breathing feels softer than it did when we first began. Perhaps your thoughts have become a little farther apart, or perhaps they are still busy. Either way, you are exactly where you need to be. There is no perfect state required for rest, only a willingness to stop struggling for a little while. There is an interesting habit shared by almost every human mind. Whenever something feels uncomfortable, our first instinct is usually to push it away. An unpleasant memory appears. We try not to think about it. A feeling of anxiety rises. We immediately search for a distraction. A wave of sadness arrives. We convince ourselves we should already be over it. The intention is understandable. No one enjoys discomfort. Yet something surprising often happens. The more we resist certain emotions, the more determined they seem to become. Imagine standing waist-deep in the ocean. A wave begins moving toward you. If you stiffen your body and try to stop the wave with all your strength, it crashes directly into you. The force feels overwhelming. Now imagine something different. Instead of resisting, you gently bend your knees. You allow the wave to move around you. For a brief moment, you move together. Then the water continues toward the shore. The wave has not disappeared, but your experience of it has completely changed. Our emotions often behave in much the same way. Modern psychology has discovered something remarkably similar. Research suggests that when people repeatedly suppress unwanted emotions, those emotions often return with even greater intensity. It's sometimes called the rebound effect. The mind becomes fascinated by whatever it is trying not to experience. Perhaps you've noticed this yourself. Someone says, "Don't think about a pink elephant." Suddenly, that's exactly what appears, not because you've failed, simply because attention naturally moves toward whatever it is instructed to avoid. The same thing happens with worry. The more urgently we command ourselves, "Stop worrying," the more carefully the brain begins checking whether worry is still present. Ironically, that checking becomes another form of worrying. Without realizing it, we've stepped into a circle. Trying harder only tightens the circle. Perhaps a different approach is possible. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of this feeling?" we might gently ask, "What happens if I simply allow it to be here for a moment?" Notice how different those questions feel. The first creates pressure, the second creates space. And space is something the nervous system understands remarkably well. Think about the sky. Clouds drift across it every single day. Some are bright and soft. Others are dark with rain. Some disappear within minutes. Others remain all afternoon. Yet the sky itself never struggles against them. It simply makes room. Our awareness can become something like that. Thoughts arrive, feelings arrive, memories arrive. None of them stay forever. Even the strongest emotion you've ever experienced eventually changed. Not because you forced it to, because change is the natural rhythm of every living experience. This realization can feel surprisingly comforting, especially on difficult nights. When anxiety whispers, "This feeling will never end," life quietly answers, "It always has before." Not one emotion you've ever experienced has remained unchanged forever. Joy changes, excitement changes, grief changes, fear changes. Everything moves, everything flows. The nervous system was built for movement, not permanence. There is another misunderstanding many people carry. They believe accepting an emotion means approving of it. But acceptance is something entirely different. Acceptance simply says, "This is what I'm experiencing right now. nothing more. If your hand touches cold water, you don't argue with the temperature. You notice it. If rain begins falling, you may not enjoy getting wet, but arguing with the rain doesn't stop the clouds. Acceptance begins with seeing reality clearly. Only then can wise action follow. Perhaps you've cared for a frightened child. Notice what helps most. Rarely do we tell the child, "Stop feeling afraid." Instead, we sit beside them. We speak softly. We stay present. Eventually, the nervous system begins borrowing calm from another person. Interestingly, adults need something very similar. Only sometimes, we become the person offering that calm to ourselves, not through criticism, through gentle presence. Imagine your emotions as guests arriving at a quiet cottage. Some are cheerful visitors, others arrive carrying heavy suitcases. One stays only a few minutes, another remains longer than expected. What happens if you slam the door every time someone knocks? The noise outside usually becomes louder. Now imagine opening the door, seeing who has arrived, offering them a quiet place to sit without asking them to stay forever, without asking them to leave immediately, simply recognizing they're here. Most emotions soften once they realize they no longer need to shout. Neuroscientists have found something fascinating. When we accurately name an emotion, the brain often becomes less reactive. Simply saying to yourself, "This is disappointment. This is frustration. This is uncertainty," can reduce emotional intensity. Not because words erase feelings, but because recognition helps the thinking brain work together with the emotional brain. Confusion slowly becomes understanding, and understanding often brings calm. This doesn't mean difficult emotions suddenly become pleasant. Loss still hurts, loneliness still aches, disappointment still feels heavy. The goal isn't to erase our humanity. The goal is to stop adding unnecessary suffering to experiences that are already difficult enough. Pain is part of life. The struggle against pain often creates a second layer, one that quietly drains far more energy than the original feeling itself. Think back to a time when you recovered from something challenging. Perhaps it was an illness, a disappointment, a season of uncertainty. At the time, you may have believed the feeling would last forever. Yet here you are, not unchanged, but still here, breathing, growing, learning. Your nervous system has survived every difficult day you've ever experienced. Sometimes we forget that remarkable truth. There is quiet wisdom in trusting the body. Your heart has continued beating through every joy and every heartbreak. Your lungs have continued breathing through every uncertain season. Your brain has spent your entire life adapting to experiences you once believed impossible to overcome. It has learned, adjusted, recovered, again and again. Not perfectly, but faithfully. Perhaps it deserves a little more trust than we usually offer it. As you continue drifting towards sleep tonight, you don't need to solve every emotion before morning. You don't need to understand every memory. You don't need to untangle every thought. Some things become clearer, not through effort, but through rest. The remarkable work your brain performs while you sleep has always been one of quiet restoration. Organizing, healing, connecting, softening, preparing you gently for another day, all without asking you to stay awake and supervise the process. So if a thought appears, let it appear. If a feeling visits, allow it to sit quietly for a while. You don't need to entertain it. You don't need to argue with it. You don't even need to understand it completely. Simply notice. There you are. And then, return your attention to something wonderfully steady. The slow rhythm of your breathing, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the quiet support beneath your body. These things have been with you all evening. Patiently waiting, never demanding, only reminding you that this moment is enough. And in our next chapter, we'll explore one of the greatest gifts of growing older, how experience slowly transforms uncertainty into wisdom, why truly peaceful people rarely rush their decisions, and how the mind quietly learns to recognize what truly deserves its attention, and what can simply be allowed to pass. Part 5. The Quiet Wisdom that time gently teaches. The night has become wonderfully still now. Perhaps your thoughts are no longer rushing quite as quickly. Perhaps they are. Either way, there is something comforting worth remembering. The quality of your thoughts does not determine your worth. The number of worries you carry does not measure your strength, and the speed of your mind does not decide whether you deserve peace. Peace has never been something that must be earned. It has always been something that patiently waits beneath the noise. There is a quiet kind of wisdom that almost no one notices while it is growing. Unlike learning a language or mastering a musical instrument, wisdom rarely announces itself. It doesn't arrive with certificates or applause or dramatic moments of realization. Instead, it grows quietly, one ordinary day after another. One disappointment, one joyful surprise, one difficult conversation, one unexpected kindness, one peaceful evening like this, little by little, without asking for recognition. Think about an old oak tree. If you visited it every single day, you would almost certainly say it hadn't changed. The trunk looks the same. The branches reach toward the sky just as they did yesterday. Everything appears unchanged, yet beneath the bark, life continues. Tiny new cells form. Roots stretch a little deeper. The tree quietly becomes stronger. Growth often happens this way inside us as well, so slowly, that only time itself notices. Perhaps you've experienced something similar. A situation that once would have overwhelmed you now feels manageable. A criticism that once stayed with you for weeks now fades after a few hours. A difficult conversation that once kept you awake now becomes simply another part of the day. You may not even remember when the change happened, because healing rarely happens all at once. It happens in countless invisible moments, each one almost too small to notice. Until one day, you realize you've become someone a little calmer than you used to be. One of the greatest gifts of experience is perspective. When we're young, everything often feels immediate. Every setback seems permanent. Every disappointment feels enormous. Every uncertainty demands an answer. With time, many people discover something gentler. Most storms pass. Most fears change. Most questions eventually soften. Not because life becomes easier, but because experience quietly teaches the nervous system something important. This isn't the first difficult day, and it probably won't be the last. But I have made it through everyone before. That realization carries a remarkable kind of peace. Researchers who study resilience have found something fascinating. People who recover well from adversity aren't necessarily those who avoid difficult experiences. More often, they're the people who gradually learn that emotions are temporary. Stress rises, then falls. Grief changes shape. Joy returns in unexpected ways. Life continues moving. The nervous system begins trusting this rhythm, like someone who has watched enough seasons to know that winter has never stayed forever. Imagine standing beside the ocean. One wave crashes loudly against the shore. Another follows, then another. If you focused on only a single wave, it might seem enormous. But after watching the sea for an hour, you begin seeing something larger. Not individual waves, but rhythm. Life often reveals itself in exactly the same way. Individual moments can feel overwhelming. Only with time do we begin seeing the larger pattern. There were peaceful seasons before. There will be peaceful seasons again. This doesn't mean every experience becomes easy. Loss still hurts. Goodbyes still matter. Unexpected changes still ask something of us. Wisdom doesn't remove emotion. It simply reminds us that emotion is not the whole story. Somewhere beyond today's difficulty, life continues unfolding, quietly, patiently, just as it always has. Perhaps this is why older people often appear less hurried, not because they know more facts, but because they've watched enough endings become beginnings. Enough failures become teachers. Enough unexpected turns become meaningful chapters. The urgency slowly fades, not into indifference, into trust. Trust that not everything requires an immediate solution. Some things simply require time. There is a beautiful difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is immediate. It comes from habit, from old patterns, from the nervous system trying to protect us quickly. Response is different. It creates a small space, just enough space for wisdom to quietly step forward. Sometimes that space lasts only one breath, yet one breath can change an entire conversation. One pause can change a decision. One quiet evening can change how tomorrow feels. Modern neuroscience tells us something hopeful. The brain remains capable of change throughout life. Every meaningful experience, every restful night, every compassionate choice strengthens certain pathways while allowing others to grow quieter. This process is wonderfully ordinary. You don't need extraordinary discipline. Only gentle repetition. A kind thought repeated often becomes easier. A peaceful evening repeated often becomes familiar. Slow breathing, practiced regularly, becomes more natural. The nervous system learns, exactly as it always has, through experience, not perfection. Think about learning to float in water. The harder someone struggles, the more difficult floating becomes. Eventually, a patient teacher says something unexpected. Stop fighting the water. At first, that advice sounds impossible. Yet the moment the body begins trusting the water, something remarkable happens. It discovers the support was there all along. Life sometimes teaches the same lesson. Not every problem asks for greater effort. Some ask for greater trust. Trust doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing the difference between what belongs to this moment and what belongs to tomorrow. Tonight. Tomorrow doesn't need solving. It only needs waiting. Morning has always arrived without your help. The sun has never required your supervision. Your heartbeat continues while you sleep. Your lungs continue breathing. Your remarkable brain continues restoring itself in ways science is still discovering. Perhaps not everything depends on constant effort after all. Many people spend years believing they must hold everything together: family, work, responsibilities, plans, other people's happiness. Eventually, life gently teaches something different. No one was ever meant to carry the whole world. Even forests rest through winter. Even rivers slow where the land becomes wide. Even your heart pauses between every beat. Nature itself understands rhythm, effort, then rest, activity, then stillness, growth, then renewal. Perhaps we were never meant to live differently. As you lie here tonight, notice that nothing is asking you to become wiser before morning. Nothing requires you to finish growing. You are allowed to be exactly where you are, learning, healing, changing slowly, just as every living thing does. There is no race, no invisible finish line waiting for you. Only another quiet opportunity to rest. Perhaps the greatest wisdom of all is recognizing that you do not have to carry every thought. You do not have to answer every question. You do not have to solve every uncertainty before sleep arrives. Some things become clearer only after they have been gently set down, not abandoned, simply trusted. Trusted to tomorrow, trusted to time, trusted to the remarkable mind that continues working even while you dream. Feel your breathing once more. Slow, steady, effortless. Notice the quiet support beneath you, the calm surrounding the room, the peaceful rhythm that has been here all along. Nothing extraordinary has happened tonight, and perhaps that is exactly the point. Real peace rarely arrives with fireworks. It arrives softly, almost unnoticed, like evening becoming night, like autumn becoming winter, like one calm breath quietly becoming the next. And in our final chapter, we'll gather together everything we've discovered tonight, exploring why your mind has never been your enemy, why rest is one of the greatest forms of wisdom, and how the quiet awareness within you has remained steady through every season of your life, patiently waiting for you to come home to it once again. Part 6. Coming home to the quiet place within. As our journey together slowly comes to an end, perhaps the room feels even quieter now. The day that once seemed so full has gently faded into the background. The conversations, the responsibilities, the unanswered questions. For this moment, none of them need anything from you. The night asks for only one thing: to let yourself rest. Throughout this evening, we've explored the remarkable landscape of the human mind, not as something to conquer, not as a machine that needs fixing, but as something far more compassionate. A living system, one that has spent your entire life learning, protecting, adapting, and doing its very best to guide you through an unpredictable world. Sometimes it became anxious. Sometimes it became tired. Sometimes it held on to worries longer than necessary. But perhaps now you can see those moments differently, not as failures, but as evidence of a mind that cared deeply about keeping you safe. There is something profoundly comforting about realizing this. For so many people spend years fighting against their own thoughts, arguing with themselves, judging themselves, wondering why peace feels so difficult to find. Yet imagine speaking to an old friend who has spent decades protecting you. Would you criticize them for becoming overly cautious? Or would you gently thank them before reassuring them that the danger has passed? Perhaps our own minds deserve the same kindness. After all, they have never stopped trying, not for a single day. Your brain has been awake through every sunrise you've ever seen. It has carried you through childhood, through seasons of change, through joyful beginnings, through painful endings. It learned your first words, remembered familiar faces, recognized the people you loved, helped you recover from disappointments you once believed you would never survive. And somehow, quietly, patiently, it kept moving forward, without applause, without recognition, simply continuing the remarkable work of keeping you alive. Perhaps tonight, instead of asking your mind to become silent, you might simply thank it. Thank it for trying. Thank it for remembering. Thank it for protecting. And then, gently remind it. We can rest now. There is surprising power in those simple words. Not because they instantly erase every anxious thought, but because they replace struggle with partnership. The nervous system responds differently when it feels understood, just as people do. Modern neuroscience continues uncovering something beautiful. Safety is not created by certainty. It is created by connection. Connection with other people, connection with nature, connection with our own bodies, and perhaps most importantly, connection with ourselves. When we constantly criticize our own minds, the nervous system often remains on guard, but when we meet ourselves with patience, something begins to soften. The body no longer feels alone. The mind no longer believes it must fight every battle by itself. Healing quietly begins. Think for a moment about the changing seasons. Spring never apologizes for arriving slowly. Summer doesn't rush because autumn is coming. Winter never feels guilty for asking the earth to rest. Nature understands cycles, growth, rest, renewal, again and again. Human beings are no different. There will be seasons of energy and seasons of recovery, seasons of certainty and seasons of confusion, seasons of joy and seasons of grief. None of these seasons last forever. Each one gently prepares the way for the next. Sometimes, we forget that our minds are part of nature too. We expect ourselves to remain calm every day, focused every hour, productive every moment. But even the ocean has tides. Even the moon disappears for part of each month. Even forests become quiet through winter. Perhaps your own moments of stillness are not interruptions to life. Perhaps they are life, quietly restoring everything that constant effort has used. There is another lesson hidden inside the rhythm of sleep every night, without asking your permission. Your brain begins sorting through thousands of experiences. Some memories grow stronger, others gently fade, emotions become less overwhelming. Connections quietly appear. Tomorrow begins preparing itself while you dream. Isn't that extraordinary? While you rest, part of you continues caring for the rest of you. You have never needed to earn that gift. It has always been waiting each night, patiently, faithfully, again and again. Perhaps this is why people often wake with unexpected clarity. Not because every problem has disappeared, but because the mind has finally had enough quiet to see more clearly. Like a lake after the wind becomes still. The water doesn't create the reflection, it simply stops disturbing it. Our thoughts often work the same way. The answers we seek are sometimes already present, hidden beneath the ripples of constant activity, waiting for stillness. Imagine standing beside a river at sunrise. The world has not yet become busy. Mist rises gently above the water. Birds begin greeting the morning. Nothing is rushing. Nothing is forcing the day to begin. Everything unfolds naturally. Your nervous system remembers this rhythm. Even if modern life sometimes causes you to forget it, deep inside, your body still knows how to rest, how to recover, how to heal. You do not need to teach it. You only need to stop interrupting it. Perhaps tonight, before sleep carries you into dreams, you can quietly release one small burden. Not every burden, just one. One conversation that can wait until tomorrow. One unanswered question. One expectation you've placed upon yourself. One worry that has grown tired from being carried. Imagine gently placing it beside the bed. It will still be there in the morning if you truly need it, but perhaps morning will reveal that it has become lighter. Sometimes, problems shrink while we sleep, not because they disappear, because we return to them with a rested mind. As your breathing becomes slower, notice how little effort life requires in this moment. Your heart continues beating. Your lungs continue breathing. Your body continues resting against the mattress. The earth continues turning beneath you. The stars continue shining above clouds you cannot see. The entire universe quietly continues its ancient rhythm. Nothing asks you to hold it together tonight. You are allowed simply to belong. There is an old truth that appears in many cultures around the world. Not because people copied one another, but because they kept discovering the same gentle reality. The quieter the mind becomes, the more clearly life reveals itself, not through dramatic revelations, but through ordinary moments. A slow breath, a warm blanket, a peaceful evening, the comforting sound of rain, the smile of someone you love, the first light of morning after a restful night. These small moments quietly become the foundation of a meaningful life, not because they are extraordinary, but because they are real. If tomorrow brings challenges, you will meet them tomorrow, just as you have met every other day before. Your remarkable brain will continue learning. Your body will continue adapting. Your heart will continue carrying you forward. You do not need tomorrow's strength tonight. Tonight only asks for tonight's rest, and that is enough. So allow your eyelids to grow a little heavier. Feel the gentle rhythm of each breath. Notice the quiet comfort surrounding you. There is nowhere left to go, nothing left to prove, nothing left to solve before sleep arrives. Only this peaceful moment, only this steady breath, only this quiet awareness that has remained with you through every chapter of your life. Always present, always patient, always waiting. Perhaps this quiet awareness is what you've really been searching for all along. Not somewhere far away, not hidden in perfect circumstances, but here, beneath the noise, beneath the worry, beneath every passing thought. A place within you that has never been broken. A place that has quietly witnessed every joy, every loss, every beginning, every ending, without ever disappearing. And now, as sleep gently welcomes you, allow yourself to trust that place. Trust your remarkable mind. Trust your resilient body. Trust the wisdom that has been quietly growing inside you through every experience you've ever lived. You have carried enough for one day. The night will carry the rest. Sleep peacefully. And when morning comes, may you wake feeling just a little lighter, a little clearer, and gently reminded that peace was never something you had to chase. It was quietly waiting within you all along. Good night.